Good. Well, I think Mondays is the most likely. So it's going to be a little bit informal. The plan is to release my vlog on. It's kind of thematic. Reading through Paul Kingsnorth's Against the Machine, which I think is a really important book. If you haven't heard me evangelizing for it, I think it's a really important book, and it's providing me with kind of a place to begin to kind of consider a bunch of ideas that I've wanted to write about for a long time. So it'll be thematic rather than chronological or going through the book. If you want to join the weekly chronological book study, that's on Thursday evenings at 7:30 on the Gadfly Academy YouTube channel. So tonight I don't have anything new. I am going to read through the vlog that I released last Friday. So if you've already watched that video on here, then it'll be a bit of a repeat. That said, if you have thoughts or questions, please put them in the chat, and I'm going to read through. Like I said, I am going to release it also as a blog on the Protecting Veil Substack. So if you prefer to read things rather than listening to them, I probably will put some links to Paul Kingsnorth's About page eventually. I don't have it down under this video yet, but I'll do that after we go off. My assumption is that people by now know about him. If you don't, there are some links you can read about his conversion to Orthodox Christianity, which is quite a remarkable story. So I'm going to read my blog. It's a little bit of an introduction to Paul and to kind of why I'm wanting to do this. Again, if you have any thoughts or questions, please put them in the chat. So as you may know, I interviewed Paul Kingsnorth early on in his Orthodox journey. I've actually interviewed him twice now, which is something that I rarely do. I think the first time I interviewed him might have been it was within his first year of being Orthodox, certainly. I prefer to have conversations with seasoned Orthodox folk as a general rule. Since our initial conversation, I've become a fan of his writing and have found in him a kindred spirit. So kind of my backstory into this whole kind of realm of cultural criticism with a focus on technology. A year after becoming Orthodox, while living at St. Sophroni's Monastery in Essex, England, I had the opportunity to read a lot. One of the many books I read was Philip Sherrard's The Rape of Man and Nature, an inquiry into the origins and consequences of modern science. As it is for many, becoming Orthodox had been a world-shifting experience for me, and reading Sherrard offered further clarification of this shift in worldview. Soon afterwards, I moved to Greece and focused on finding a place to live, learning modern Greek, getting acculturated, and navigating the often Byzantine Greek bureaucracy. This, in turn, was followed by many years of theological study. My intuition about the truth of Sherrard's vision of the world would have to wait for another time. That said, during my time at Essex, I did sketch the outline for a book entitled Incarnate Reality and Virtual Reality, which in retrospect probably should have been the topic of my doctoral dissertation. It's often only in hindsight that we understand, albeit through a glass darkly, our lives, and perhaps I can now see at least part of the divine logic. My doctoral dissertation, The Theological Anthropology and Cosmology of C.S. Lewis, an Orthodox patristic evaluation, was one way to address the questions lying at the heart of Sherrard's work. What does it mean to be human? And what should our relationship with God's creation look like? Lewis, of course, was another beacon of light in 20th century Christian cultural criticism and has much to offer. So I've likely bored you enough with my own personal history in one introduction. Suffice to say that encountering Paul Kingsnorth has reignited the embers left by Sherard, and I'm now doing what I can to encourage Orthodox friends, really anyone who will listen, to read his new book, Against the Machine on the Unmaking of Humanity. To this end, I am leading a weekly live stream book club for the book on my Gadfly Academy YouTube channel, as I mentioned. And I've decided that in addition to my weekly blog posts at Gadfly Academy, at least for the time being, I'm going to add more regular blog posts here at Protecting Veil on the Substack. These posts will engage with Paul's work from the perspective of Orthodox Christianity, and they'll be thematic again rather than kind of chronological. If you haven't already read Paul's book, I encourage you to do so. And please join us for our weekly book study on the Gadfly Academy YouTube channel. And again, I'm going to be we're live here semi-regularly, maybe weekly if I can, at 7:30 on Mondays. Finally, stay tuned for Gadfly Academy and You Are Not a Machine merch in time for Christmas. T-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, and more. I'm going to go ahead and grab a few of the things. I'll probably show them each time. I think the merch stop will go live on this Thursday, so stay tuned for that. But just to show you, they've turned out really well. I think there's a T-shirt. There are two designs. This is one with design on both sides. The other one only has this design on the front. So this is the back of this one. But they're high quality. They're actually really nice, nicely done, I think. And then they're hoodies as well. There's all different things. There's the front of the hoodie and the back of the hoodie. So hopefully they'll wear well. They certainly look really good at this point. As I mentioned my other live stream, if you get a hoodie, order. They run small, so if you regularly order a medium, you should probably order a large. I'm going to try to put that in the description. So look for that if you're interested. It should be nice. There'll be coffee mugs, stickers, or magnets, I guess. So Paul Kingsnorth says what people like us are all thinking, but he articulates it in far better than we can. Yes, I am struggling to articulate and I am impressed by his capacity for that. He's definitely got a gift. Hopefully I can add something helpful. I'm particularly enjoying the theological reflections that I'm writing, so hopefully those you'll find of interest. Because a lot of things he says, I think, are there's a Christian intuition there, certainly, but he doesn't kind of go deeply into the theological, and that's just because that's not, he's writing for obviously a broader audience, and but there's a lot there that's very helpful, I think, and I think it's really important. There is the one person, the Orthodox person who has written more theologically is Philip Sherard. And I will be releasing actually a talk that I gave a few months ago at Antiochian Village on Philip Sherard and his thought. There's this article that he wrote, maybe the last thing published after his repose, called "The Desert Fathers and Ourselves," which I think is very very worthwhile reading. It has some theological problems, but it's provocative in I think a good way, in a helpful way. So that's really it. 20 minutes. I'm happy to hang out, but I don't have a lot this week. I did want to kind of do a bit of a trial run. It's been a while since I have done a live stream, so it's nice to see so many people here. I'm grateful for you, and um, if you haven't already got Paul Kingsnorth's book, I do encourage you to read it. If you want to go through it with our book study, that's on Thursday evenings at Gadfly Academy, the Gadfly Academy YouTube channel. And I think that's it. If you haven't already signed up for our newsletter, that's the way to stay up to date with different things. The Gadfly Academy and the Protecting Veil newsletter. So thanks as always. And I think that's probably it. Yeah. Matthew 24. Haha. Yes, I thank you for mentioning that. If anyone follows or listens to John Here's podcast, YouTube channel, Heavy Things Lightly, um, my conversation with him went live this morning, so that was nice. It's really the first kind of more serious conversation that I've done, so I'm hoping to do more things like this. So I'm working on the lighting, and hopefully the sound's good too. But we'll get there slowly, slowly. So thanks for being here, and God willing, I'll be back here next Monday at 7:30 with a more kind of probably a fuller an actual theological reflection. So until then, take care. Have a good week. Good night.